Hi folks, my name's Tim and I'm coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. As you can tell by my accent, I'm about as southern as you can get. I'm from the sticks, yeah. I live in Raleigh though now, and I recently heard that Glenn Beck of Fox News and whatever other radio station he's affiliated with or owns, that he recently commented that the 99ers, or the people that have been out of work for 99 weeks or more, are basically un-American, that they should be ashamed of themselves, and various other slanderous comments such as that. Well, you know, Beck calls himself an American patriot. Well, from my last understanding, or from what I understand, we're a democracy. We are a government of the people, by the people. The people vote our elected representatives into office, of course, as you well know, and as you all do if you vote anyway. And we expect something in return. We expect them to look out for our interests. That's why we vote for certain people. And that's why certain people run for office, to look out for the interest of their constituents, the people of their geographical region or what have you. However, once they get there, it seems like they do the opposite, and they get taken over by corporate lobbyists and stuff like that, which is what I think is happening in this country. Too many lobbyists, too much big money up there in Washington, and it gets into the back pockets, and it convolutes what we voted for them for, and our interest never gets really looked after. But Beck's comment is directly related to that. You see, the American people would go to work if they had jobs, if corporate interests wouldn't lobby Congress or our senators or representatives to look the other way and to let them send the jobs, you know, out of the country and give them tax breaks. Basically, my understanding is they get tax breaks for sending jobs out of the country into third world nations or what have you. But if it's a situation where the American people, the middle class, the working class, are getting caught and now are getting blamed for basically the problem of the recession. And I've heard as much, and it makes no sense to me when we had absolutely nothing to do with it. We had our government, we had the government that bailed out all the heavy hitters on Wall Street, and I don't know, they let one maybe fall, and they bailed out the rest. And you know, they left the American people out to kind of sort of on the clothesline to dry, you know, for lack of a better word. And you'll probably hear a lot of words that I could use better than I will. But and that makes absolutely no sense. Now, you know, it's not our fault. It's not the American people's fault what happened with the recession or depression. I would rather say we're probably more near a depression. And it's not our fault, but yet we're getting the blame. And people like Beck are saying, you know, you need to get out and work at McDonald's. You need to get out and work at Hardee's. You need to get 2 or 3 jobs. You know, well, you know, the people are sitting here saying, yeah, well, they had a lot better jobs than that. Okay, they would still have a lot better jobs than that, and this is getting to my point here, if people wouldn't send the jobs out of the country. It's simple. You don't send the jobs out of the country, you employ Americans. Now you got Beck's boss, or I guess he's his boss, Rupert Murdoch. You know, he owns News Corp, among many other things. I guess News Corp is the major business, and then the subsidiaries under that. But you got him and Mayor Bloomberg of Michael Bloomberg of New York, and many others who have recently suggested that they are going to form a coalition and lobby the government to extend and make all these illegal immigrants that are currently residing within our borders here in the United States citizens, and give them citizenship, give them amnesty. Well, if that's not special interest, then I don't know what is. I mean, they're basically saying, okay, we want to give, you know, all these millions of immigrants amnesty, and we're probably going to employ them and exploit them. Well, you know, if people like that wouldn't do that, then Americans would go to work. I mean, yeah, I mean, the day was when I could walk down the street and get a job just about anywhere I wanted. I've been working since I was 8 years old. And I've just recently, this is my longest layoff ever, and I'm 45. And I've been working since I was 8. And I never had a problem working. And I'm in school now to better myself, you know, and to further my education, to extend my education. And that's all I can do to try to pull myself up and rise above what's getting ready to happen, which is another slap in the face to the American people when, if and when they give amnesty to all these illegals here who supposedly provide much more to the economy because they're more, they're basically, according to Bloomberg and Murdoch, smarter, and they contribute more. Well, that's just not even right. This is a double slap in the face. It's a trifold situation when you got immigrants coming in that are performing cheap labor and taking jobs from Americans that would work them and used to work them, but not for the same price that illegal immigrants will. And then you got other immigrants that are coming in here from India and various other places that are highly educated, that are taking jobs from Americans, such as doctors, and people that go to college here to become doctors and surgeons and stuff like that, and will work cheaper than they will. And then you got corporations sending jobs out of the country. You got two assets coming in for them, their assets coming in for them, and then you got them sending jobs out of the country. So they're basically skipping over the entire middle class population and destroying it. And all in the name of more money. Well, I mean, you know, Glenn Beck, I'm asking you, where's the patriotism in that? I mean, that's nowhere near. You claim you know much about the founding of this country. I don't know how many greats go back. He fought in the Revolutionary War, my great-grandfather. He fought at Yorktown. We were here prior to Yorktown. I've got relatives that fought in Vietnam, World War II. I've got relatives, I don't have any relatives that have recently fought in Iraq. But, you know, I've got deep roots in the soil of this country. My grandfather, his great-grandfather, his father, and all down the road tilled much soil and farmed a lot of land and provided, you know, food for this country back in the day when we actually produced our own food. And you're going to call me un-American. Well, I mean, you know, that's just, you know, I would like to talk to you and just to see how American you really are, because you cannot be no more American than me. And as a matter of fact, I think you're less. And I would tell you as much to your face. You know, just because you happen to have had things fall into place don't mean that 1.5 million people will have the same thing happen. You say you worked jobs that you didn't want to work, but according to my research, you probably worked maybe one or two, and things began to fall into place for you. And that's fine. That's great. It don't do that for everybody. There's people out here that would love to have a job $15 or $16 an hour. I used to make $22 an hour. And I went down since 2000, since the year 2000. I've been down since that. I've gone down every year. It's not due to my performance. It's due to the fact that there's so much competition now that it drove my salary down because of the cheaper labor coming to this country. I don't think that's fair to Americans. I don't think that's fair at all. I think the only people it's fair to is the owners of the companies. And I think they ought to be held accountable. So, I'm for a free market. I'm for trading within our borders. I'm for producing here again and sending it out of the country to other countries that can afford it. People used to profit, you know, we used to profit off our cotton. It was sold all over the world. And it probably still is, but that's one of the only things. And other countries learn how to grow cotton and, you know, whatever. But we sell, we produce and sell here and import what we need. That was the intent of the founding fathers. And if you think it was any other intent, a global economy, I would have to disagree with you there. I have no inclination that they ever thought of a global economy. I knew that they wanted to provide, and that the framing of the work for this country, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, was to protect the people of this country and ensure their safety and ensure their well-being, so to speak, that they had the right to pursue happiness. They had the right to do this and that. Nobody says that they have the right to government support. I don't agree with that at all. But what I do agree with is that we are taken care of first. We are looked after first, and we will produce. But we cannot produce when big money would rather have another country produce. It just won't work. So when you blame us for the economy and not working, you need to be talking to the people above you, your boss, and saying, well, hey, why are we sending jobs out of the country? Why don't we employ Americans? They need the work. They will work. We might have to pay them more, but they will work. So that's what needs to happen. Anybody that ever confronts me with that will get the same argument over and over again, and I know I'm right. And I don't have to question. I can back up everything I'm telling you. I have lived it. I know it. And I know that it's changed, and it's changed for the worse. It's changed for the better for the rich, but for the worse for the poor, when they have absolutely no opportunity to go to work because you're sending the jobs out of the country and you're bringing cheap labor in here, so they're getting slapped in the face twice. So the next time you want to yell at somebody or condemn somebody for being un-American, maybe you need to look above your head a little bit. That's all I got to say. Thanks.